Hello everybody, Ulancey Peterson here. Today it is Thursday, May 3rd, 2018. It is now 11:44 in the morning. I'm currently in Santa Monica, California. All right, so I have been looking at two different articles regarding the subject of if drivers on Uber and Lyft or rideshare in general, specifically in California, if the drivers are considered independent contractors or employees. So there are two very interesting articles that I think California drivers in particular should read, because it's going to settle the air in a bit. One article is on LCT Mag.com, luxury coach and transportation. It's a really good website. I subscribe to them. And the first article is dated on April the 17th. No, let me see. Where is it at? I gotta find it because it's wow, I just had the article. It's dated, man, I'm trying to make a good, April 17, 2018. And it says here, federal judge rules Uber drivers are not employees, okay? But when you read the article, you get down to the last paragraph, and it says, the ruling only applies to Uber's limousine-like service, but could set precedent for the entire ride-sharing industry and the associated gig economy. And so it references you to read the article on Engadget.com. Now, this is interesting because the vehicle that I drive is, for the most part, set up as a limo company. So I have my own corporation. I rent a car from a limousine company. And according to federal law, I am an independent contractor. So I'm not an employee as per Uber. However, there is an associated article that was dated May 2nd, 2018 on LCTmag.com that states here, limo industry leaders hail big labor blow to Uber and Lyft. And it states that Uber drivers are employees. Well, all this confusion has got me to think, what could Uber do to fix this problem? Uber could potentially just execute what I would consider to be the nuclear option, and that is all drivers on their platform, at least in the state of California, because I do not know about what happens in the other 49 states or wherever else Uber operates. But when it pertains to the state of California, they could require each individual vehicle to have their own TCP permit. If that happens, UberX, as we know it, will basically go away. And here's the reason why. It comes down to the standard that Uber has to the classification of the ABC test. If you go to law.cornell.edu, it says here the definition: the ABC test, a test used in some states to determine whether a person is an employee or an independent contractor for the purpose of determining state unemployment tax. And so it states here, some courts are using this test to look at whether a worker meets three separate criteria to be considered an independent contractor. Now, keep in mind, Uber asserts that they are a technology company, and what they do is they match riders to vehicles. That's all they do. And the other thing they do is they facilitate the credit card processing for payments. So Uber says, hey, we take care of the payment arrangement. We take care of the passenger arrangement. We help you find clients for your service. And in return, we get a 25% commission. That's what it's supposed to be. Or in the case of UberBLACK, SUV and Lux, a 28% commission. So they say here, rule number 1, the worker is free from the employer's control or direction in performing the work. Here's why this is important. Let's say Uber, the app, goes down, okay? Well, because I have my own TCP, it doesn't really matter to me because I can go on ahead and get my own customers. So the difference between a TNC and a TCP is Uber controls how you get the work simply because you are using their app. If the app goes down, if Uber goes out of business, if you decide to work for another company, if you decide to get your own company through your own TCP, Uber cannot control that. I'm agreeing to work on Uber's platform, but I can still get my own customers if anything happens to Uber. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the work takes place outside the usual course of the business of the company and off the site of the business. That's an interesting one, but consider this. Think of how Uber and Lyft currently classify themselves. They're saying that they are not transportation companies, that they simply facilitate rides, they facilitate credit card transactions. If Uber turns around and says, look, if you want to work on our platform, you have to have a TCP, you have to have your own insurance, you have to have your own you have to have your own company formally recognized by the state. You have to have your own airport permits. If they did that, this would eliminate these first two questions, because now Uber is truly doing what they say. And number 3, customarily the worker is engaged in an independent trade, occupation, profession, or business. Now this is where it gets interesting. If you are an UberX driver and you do not have your own TCP permit, you are dependent on Uber to send you customers. You are dependent on Uber to send you customers. However, if you have your own TCP, you operate your own vehicle, technically you are independent. You are using Uber service to get customers, but if Uber goes away, you are independent. You can do whatever you want to do to get your own drivers, your own customers. This is going to be very fascinating. It's going to be interesting to see how Uber fixes this, how they're going to work around this. Some of the articles I have read, Uber is lobbying the state of California for a new employment classification that kind of bridges between an all-out employee and an independent contractor. Because if they were to require that all drivers have their own TCP permit, the cost to be a TCP driver would be prohibitive for the typical Uber, UberX, even UberXL driver. They wouldn't do it. The commercial insurance alone would say, you know what, this isn't worth it, I'm going to do something else. And Uber could flip that switch just like that. So it will be interesting to see, because now Uber and Lyft, they basically have 30 days to file their primary corporations, their primary corporate structures as a TCP. This will be very interesting to see what happens. I will be watching this one with great interest, but at the same time, it really doesn't bother me because I drive a car with a TCP on it already. All right. I would love to hear your comments on this one. Take care. Have a great day.